Yo, what is good? What's happening? How y'all doing? What's going on? It's been a minute. Welcome back to the archives for another discussion. Today we're going to be discussing something kind of fun, but before that, I just need to apologize for being MIA for a little bit. I was trying to figure out a better microphone issue or situation. Got this Bluetooth microphone. It should work. It's working now. You see the green light? It means it's working. I spent about a week trying to get it to get, or not a week, like almost like 2-3 days trying to get it to work. I kept clicking the power button, nothing was happening. There was no audio in the videos, and turns out you have to hold the power button down for it to turn on instead of just clicking it. Yeah, but it works now. So today we're back. Grab yourself some water, go do some chores, put me on the background. Let's start talking. Today we're going to talk about why people don't read in general. What are some general reasons why people don't read? And I've never really looked this up, so we're going to get into it. And we're going to see how it goes. So, we're just going to hop right into it. First one is I don't have time. You have time. I promise you have time. It's just that you're spending that time doing something else that you could be doing, that instead you could be reading. There's always an opportunity cost to our time, and I get that. But you have time. Now, this is situational. I 100% understand if you wake up and you work and all you have time for is to eat and go to bed and get back to work because it just afford a family. This doesn't apply to you. This shoe does not fit. If you wake up and you are, I don't know, busy helping out your family, helping out your family, doing chores because you live alone or need to assist because you, whatever it is, shoe does not fit. If you wake up every day, hit snooze on your alarm, and get on your phone for the first hour to 2 hours of the day, this shoe fits for you. You have time. You're just not using it well. That's about it. That's the factual part of it. You're not using your time well. Don't tell me you don't have time to do this because you have time to do something else. Okay, we're back. Oh my god, it powered down. I really hope it'll last for this video. My mic lost, or what's the word for it? It lost battery. It shut down. One of those things. Basically, just shut down. But anyways, we're back. What I was saying was that you can find time, right? You can find 5 minutes, 10 minutes in your day to read an article, a newsletter, or a blog post, right? You can find 30 minutes in your day, maybe, to sit down and read like one chapter in a book. That's perfect. That is doable. Okay, that is doable if you want to, because I get opportunity costs. I live my life by opportunity costs. If you do this, you can't do this. I get that. So you just need to figure out what can you not do twice a week so that you can then read. We're moving on. Secondly, books are expensive. Oh, sorry, excuse number two. Books are expensive. No one's telling you to go buy a bookstore. You don't need a wall of books. Books are not expensive because books can be free if you know where to go. Books can be discounted if you know where to go. Books that can be discounted. So many stores have discount books. You can get ebooks online that are less expensive generally than their physical counterparts. Why is that? That's not expensive. You could just, you know, repurpose. If you want to read, you can repurpose something that you're spending money on that you don't need to. Maybe you can spend it on an ebook or something like that. But you don't have to. Really, just get a library card. I've been saying this. Get a free public library card that gives you access to a free account on their website that gives you access to physical and electronic books for free. I'm done with this topic. That is so of a non-issue because you don't have to buy the book if you want to read the book. You can find a way to read the book online if you really wanted to. It's just how that is. I don't know what to read. This one is interesting because I get it. There's a lot of different kinds of books out there. There's a lot of content out there. You don't know where to start. You don't know what you like. But the only way to do it is to start doing it. Start with short stories. Don't try and pick up a 500-page book. Start with small short stories. Start with books that are smaller but still have a good story. Try different genres out to see if you like them or not. And only then will you get to know what you want to read. Look up recommendations from people that maybe you think, or ask your friends, what do you like to read? What do you like about that book? Oh, maybe I'll like that too. Something like that. You know? Not knowing what to read is not a good enough reason to not read. Because there's a myriad of different types of novels and books and content and literary content out there for you to absorb. It just is. It just is. 4. This one's interesting. Reading keeps me awake at night. Don't read at night. If that is your issue, don't read at night. That's the only time I have to read. Repurpose your mornings. Don't read at night. Wake up early and start reading. Because yes, I have a friend who she would read books on her phone or her laptop or whatever, and she'd be up till 4 a.m. reading because she couldn't put it down. Don't read at night. It's very simple. It's simple to say, hard to do, I understand. But if you have an issue with reading books gets me too engrossed and I stay awake, or I can't put the book down, don't read it at night. First, if you stay up, if you cannot put the book down, give yourself I'm reading 2 chapters and I'm done. Or do it in the morning before, if you have to go to a job, read before you have to start work. Because that way that deadline of I need to get ready for work will cut you off from reading. And then you would have just read for how much ever you wanted to and not overdone it, if that's your concern. Can't I just watch the movie? No, you can't just watch the movie. No. Movies are good. There are some very good movie adaptations of novels. But there are also some very garbage movie adaptations of novels. Percy Jackson, I'm looking at you. Right. I'm looking straight at you. Aragon, I'm looking straight at you, Aragon. Oh no, you can't just read the book. You're missing so much. You're missing what made the book worthy of being even adapted into a movie by watching the movie and not reading the book. Now I get it. There's a lot of books, and this is the same with like manga and anime, where I would like to see the story animated and played out versus read. That's fair. But if that is your reason for not reading at all, that's stupid. If that's your reason for not reading certain books, fair. Fair. You know what? That I will take I will take that. You can watch the movie if it's really a book that you don't care about, but the movie's interesting. I don't care for the Twilight series. How I watch them, no, but I feel like I'm going to be forced to at some point in my life. Anyways, reading is too hard. How old are you? Now, this is not for people who have a physical or mental obstacle to reading. Okay, this is not talking about people who are dyslexic or people um, who think slowly, or people who have some sort of like. I had an instructor in college where she would hear sounds as words in front of her, as colors in front of her. She had one of those um, special traits. And if you're a person like that, this does not apply to you. Okay, the shoe does not fit here. The shoe fits if you're like, reading is too hard. I'm too lazy to read. I'll just watch it instead. No one's asking you to be like that guy on Zoe 101 when she went for a date and he was at the she went for a date with like some dude at the library, and she was like, "Hey, are you whatever your name is?" And he's like, "1 second, I need to finish this book." Flips through the book. Okay, I'm done. No. So I actually watched the video back, or I looked up a clip of Zoe 101, and I was thinking of Miles Brody, but he didn't actually do that, so excuse my raging there, but the point is still the same. So I win. No one's asking you to be a genius, right? Reading is not hard. It depends on the book you're reading, obviously. right? There are definitely more difficult books than others. I'm not trying to read a Shakespearean classic. I'm not trying to read a um, what's it called? A scientific journal, right? I'm just reading fiction books that are literally written to be digestible and very simply and very effectively. It's not hard to read. I don't. Now, I guess if you say it's hard to, you know, commit yourself to that time, commit yourself to the activity, fair. That goes back to the other topics of take it in small chunks, take it a chapter at a time, take it a small book before a large book, take individual books versus a series. Start slow. That is fair. That is actually fair. I might have gotten a bit aggressive initially. I apologize. I'll take the L on that. If reading is hard because you do not know how, or you are intimidated by the kinds of books that are out there that people are saying, just don't read those books. I don't read productivity books, but people love them. They're not hard for me to read, but sometimes they can be hard to get through because it's dull and boring, and I don't care about that. I don't care about nonfiction. I want to be in a different world. So I just don't read those. And then it just makes reading that much easier because I've just eliminated an entire category that I don't have to worry about. I don't have to worry about the decision of what I want to read because I'm not going to read this one. I'm done. I can pick some more fun books. I just never got last one. I just never got into the habit. Fair reading, fair reading like any other thing is an activity that takes time to develop. It takes time to develop a skill of reading, a skill of seeing words and seeing imagery and imagining that and seeing how it plays out and maybe narrating how you think you want to narrate a book. That takes time and it does and it's hard to build the habit of reading. But if you want to, you can with 5 to 10 minutes a day reading an article, a blog, or a newsletter. Then you bump it up to maybe you're reading like a journal or a magazine or something. I'm not even kidding. Then you go into reading a short story that can be anywhere from I don't know 1,500 2,000 words, and then you can go into reading single small thin books like Show Your Work or um, I had it here Blur, like David Copperfield, Charles Dickens. You can read. That's a classic. I would not recommend reading that. It might hurt. You might want to put the classics to a little bit later. But you get what I'm saying, right? The building a habit of reading is doable, and I don't think that is what should stop you from reading. I think that should even more encourage you to say, I want to build this habit. I'm gonna try my very best to do it a couple of times a week, and I'm going to start reading a little bit. You get off of reading, you come back. You get off, you come back. You figure out what you like, and it just gets easier every single time you come back. There's another one here. Where is it? I don't see the point of reading. Did y'all watch that video that I sent y'all to the other day? The last video from Jack Close about why fiction is good for you. Reading is so tremendously important for your mental development, right? The skill of reading, comprehending, understanding, internalizing, and then generating is so important to your personal development that just not reading to me seems like you're refusing to improve in some part of your life. And as someone who seeks improvement in different parts of his day to day and life at different times, just not reading seems like you're okay with not growing. It's so important for you to be able to tune things out and just focus on one thing. Ooh, this is going into the next one. I don't have the attention span to read. This one is big because you know why? Our current day and age in media has ruined our attention span, mine included, has ruined my attention span to be able to sit down for, I used to be able to sit down for 5 hours and read a book. Like I would literally be opening that book and in the morning and I would be reading it and I'd go outside to my dinner table and I would read while I'm eating breakfast. I'd go back in my room and keep reading. I'd come back out at lunch. I'd still be reading. It depends on the book, but I was capable of doing that. Now, because I stopped reading, got into gaming, got into watching streams, got into watching YouTube videos, got into social media, I can maybe sit for an hour, 2 hours, depending on the setting, and read. And it's annoying because I want to be able to pay more attention, but I can't. And that skill starts from you being aware and understanding that, and then developing the skill to be able to focus more. When you want to read and when you want to, or not even, let's take that to a tangent to something else. When you want to be able to focus on one thing, you have to develop the ability of putting everything else to the side. Do not have your phone near you. Do not have something on the other monitor playing while you're. Do not try and multitask. We're so stuck on multitasking to be the most efficient we can be. Guilty. That it it really it takes away all the energy you could be devoting to one task and doing it really well, trying to do 4 tasks and doing them mediocre for a less result, for a less beneficial, not less like good result. I don't know what the word is there, but not being able to focus is an issue. That is one of the most genuine issues of people being able to read nowadays, is because it doesn't they don't feel stimulated by it, they don't feel encaptured by it, and if they do, they can't stick with it long enough. I'm having such a hard problem reading this book 9 of Ranger's Apprentice Halt's Peril because I just can't. I just want to get out of Otter Lumen and go somewhere else. Put me to a different world. That's different than not being able to focus. But when I want to read, it's hard for me to focus because I just don't want to be in this world for right now. So I've been in this world for 8 books, but I'm training myself to be able to sit down and say, I'm going to read this and I'm going to read this and I'm going to enjoy the world. I'm going to stay in the world before I go somewhere else. And if you have this issue, let's talk. I would love to help you and just kind of learn like why, like what is your attention being split to if you're splitting from this. That was a crazy one. Huh. Overstimulation. That's fair because reading is a lot of work, mental work, physical work, where you're sitting, how you're sitting, if you're hunched over, neck down, if you're in a proper position, if you're slouched. It's a lot of work. I get what this means by overstimulation because you spend your entire day working, talking to people. Maybe you're reading on your job. Maybe you're you have a labor intensive job, so you're just tired. And you want to sit down and do nothing or do what it says here, you want to do the activity that requires the least amount of brain power. I'm so guilty of that in college because that's why I stopped reading, because I was reading so much at in college. I was reading textbooks, I was reading articles, I was reading journals. I had to write my own stuff. And I was so sick of looking at textbooks. I would just go home and want to watch YouTube and Twitch streams and play games. I don't want to have to register words for a little bit. I That one I get. That is crazy. And I think it just comes from putting yourself in a position where reading refreshes you. It does not drain you. I'm going to say that again. I think we all need to put ourselves in positions and find books that refresh us. They don't drain us. And that can be hard. That can be difficult. But I think we can all do it. This is a crazy reason. This actually, no, I very much identify with this reason. Very much identify with this reason. Insufficient reading skills and mental health. I'm not going to even talk about that. That is a genuine issue that people have, and I know that, if there have been people who worked hard enough and been able to read efficiently and all that stuff, but that is not something I'm going to tell you to, like, you need to read. you need to read, even though it's such a hard thing for you to do. I'm not gonna put you through that. We're not gonna talk about that next. Peer pressure. This one's interesting because it's basically saying, growing up, if you were forced to read and study, not study, if you're just forced to read all the time, that can put a very sour taste in your mouth, to where once you have the freedom to not, you don't. And that is very unfortunate, because to me, because I've been in similar situations, to me, when you're out of that situation and you stop reading, I think it's good that you stop, because I think it's good that you're taking control of what you want to do. But it's very hard to rationalize not doing it forever, or for long term, because at some point you're just gonna have to, and at some point you're just gonna need to. You're gonna hit a wall at some point mentally, where a lot of times reading is gonna take you out of it. Reading a book, reading an article, reading something is gonna take you out of whatever you're dealing with for a little bit, and it's gonna be so beneficial for you. But I get it. Being forced to do something for so long, and then having the freedom to not do it, you're not going to do it. You're saying, "Fuck, I'm not doing that. Mm-mm, not happening." But what I will also say is, if you ever feel like you want to go back and start reading, do it. Don't think about that time when reading put a bad taste in your mouth. Don't think about those books even. Remove that genre, remove that type of book from your thoughts, and just go somewhere completely new. Find people that will help you and enjoy doing something like this with you. I think that would be also really fun, is if you can find a good group of people who also enjoy reading, either casually or seriously, and you guys can just share and just like talk about things. I'm a casual reader. I'm not an aggressively serious reader. Um, because I just like doing other things with my time. But I really wanted to this year make sure that reading is part of my weekly life, not daily, but weekly life, weekly activities, because it's so beneficial, and I can feel it. I can feel that, like, when I make the decision to not to log off, turn my screens off, and just spend the 2 hours before bed reading, I feel so good, so much better than if I stayed on my computer or stayed on my phone and just scrolled just like this in your bed, right? You're just like this, and you're just scrolling. There's never a better time, in my opinion, to read than now, because of how much information overload we're getting from the internet and from our phones and from people around us and from our jobs. That being able to start reading now, um, and at least for like that 30 minutes or that 1 hour a day, take yourself out of this world. That is can be really unfortunate sometimes, to put yourself in a different one just for a little bit, for your mental health. This is the most important time to do that. The most important time. Are there any other ones I missed? Lack of time, money, not getting the right book, accumulation of books, money keeps wandering. That's just a distracting thing. Availability of content online. There's a lot of content online. What? They don't want to take the pain of searching for a book. Yeah, don't be lazy. Don't be lazy. Just go look for a book. They're free. Lack of patience. Fair. You don't want to sit through a 500-page book. Sit through a 1,500-word book. That's simple. That's simple. Now, I will say lack of patience is my own thing also, because there's so many times when I'll just like start flipping pages. If it's just walls of text, of imagery, and there's no dialogue and there's no story progression, I will just, okay, cool, dialogue, what happened? That's what I'll do, because I'm also impatient, and it's like I I receive and generate and spit out information very quickly. Do I process it as quickly? No, but it goes and it comes right back out just as quick. Um, and so I get impatient as well. Of like when I'm watching something, I get impatient. Imagine reading it and like do it. Did you guys hear the honking outside? I hope y'all didn't. If y'all did, I'll probably cut that out. I think it's a fire truck or something. Okay, hopefully it's done. But yes, so we just went through like 10 maybe reasons why people don't read. Also, a good amount of them are valid, a good amount of them are not valid. But these are all reasons, and I think we should all be aware of them and understand them, and then we can work to overcome them. So, but if you guys liked discussions like this, please let me know. I can do more. I actually plan to do more. I love talking about things like this. And yeah, for those of you who are new here, thank you. For those of you who are returning, I appreciate you sticking around, being part of the discussion. Once again, stay hydrated, stay happy, stay reading, and I'll catch you guys next time.